Greetings, fellow food enthusiasts! Ever wondered what filled the plates of the literary maestro William Shakespeare during the Elizabethan era? Today on Foodstorian, we're diving deep into history to explore the tantalizing world of William Shakespeare. But before we embark on this culinary journey, let me ask you a bold question. What do you think was the bard's favorite dish? Subscribe now and let's uncover the flavors that shaped the pages of Shakespearean history. Our journey begins by immersing ourselves in the vivid culinary landscape of Elizabethan England. To truly understand the culinary landscape, we must first acknowledge the societal structure. This was a time when social status significantly influenced one's access to certain foods. The tables of the elite were laden with exotic spices and luxurious ingredients, while the common folk relied on more humble fare. Spices were a symbol of wealth during this period, and they played a crucial role in defining the flavors of Elizabethan cuisine. Cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and pepper were highly prized and featured prominently in both sweet and savory dishes. Now, let's step into the heart of the Elizabethan kitchen, the fireplace. Unlike modern kitchens, open fires were the primary means of cooking. The culinary artistry of the time required a delicate balance between fire and finesse. The skilled cooks of the Elizabethan era were masters at manipulating the heat to create complex and mouth-watering dishes. Roasting, baking, and boiling were the predominant cooking techniques, each contributing to the unique flavors of the period. Now let's talk about the grand banquets that were a hallmark of Elizabethan feasting. These extravagant events were not just about indulgence, but were also a display of wealth, power, and hospitality. Tables adorned with ornate silverware, elaborate centerpieces, and a plethora of dishes showcasing the wealth and sophistication of the host. From peacock pies to spiced wine, the Elizabethans knew how to make a statement through their culinary creations. To truly grasp the culinary landscape, we need to explore the markets where these ingredients were sourced. Markets were bustling hubs of activity, offering a fascinating array of goods from all corners of the world. Exploring the market, one would find merchants hawking exotic spices, rare fruits, and the finest cuts of meat. It was a time when global trade routes were expanding, bringing new and exciting flavors to the tables of the Elizabethan elite. Beyond the markets, kitchen gardens played a crucial role in providing fresh and locally sourced ingredients. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, and parsley were staples, not just for flavor but also for their believed medicinal properties. The Elizabethans had a deep connection between food and medicine, believing that the right combination of ingredients could not only tantalize the taste buds, but also promote health and well-being. No exploration of Elizabethan cuisine would be complete without a look at their sweet tooth. Desserts were a delightful mix of creativity and indulgence. From sugared almonds to marchpane sculptures, Elizabethan desserts were as much about presentation as they were about taste. Sweet, intricate, and often featuring edible gold leaf, these treats were a testament to the culinary artistry of the time. Now let's delve into the heart of the matter. What were Shakespeare's favorite foods? Shakespeare, the master storyteller, often wove intricate tales around the dining table. His plays are a feast for the mind, and today, we'll delve into the flavors that might have graced the plates of his time. Picture the bustling markets and kitchens of Elizabethan England, a world of culinary wonders that undoubtedly influenced the great playwright's descriptions of sumptuous banquets, intimate gatherings, and poignant meals. Let's start with the written word. Shakespeare's plays are replete with references to food and drink. From the intoxicating descriptions of a royal feast to the simple fare of a country picnic, his words paint a vivid picture of the gastronomic delights of his time. Shall we take a closer look? "If music be the food of love, play on," he wrote. Food, much like music, was a source of passion, desire, and expression in the world of Shakespeare. To truly understand Shakespeare's gastronomic world, we must explore the kitchens of his time, the heart of every Elizabethan household. These kitchens were alive with the sizzle of meat on the spit, the clatter of pots and pans, and the intoxicating aroma of herbs and spices. Imagine the skilled hands of the cooks, the open hearth fires, and the bubbling cauldrons. This was a world where culinary alchemy gave birth to delectable creations that found their way onto the tables of kings and commoners alike. Now let's pull up a chair and join the feast. Shakespeare's characters often gathered around the table, and the food served was not just sustenance but a reflection of the social dynamics, emotions, and plot twists. Whether it's the boisterous merriment of a lively tavern or the refined elegance of a royal banquet, the meals in Shakespeare's plays were more than just scenes. They were expressions of the characters' personalities and the unfolding drama. Venturing beyond the stage, let's explore the markets that inspired the playwright's gastronomic musings. The vibrant hustle and bustle of Elizabethan markets were a cornucopia of flavors, textures, and scents that fueled Shakespeare's imagination. From the exotic spices brought by traders from distant lands to the locally sourced fruits and vegetables, these markets were a treasure trove of inspiration for the culinary tapestry woven into the fabric of Shakespeare's plays. Nature, too, played a significant role in Shakespeare's gastronomic world. The gardens of his time were not only places of beauty, but also sources of fresh herbs, fruits, and vegetables that found their way onto the plates of the Elizabethan populace. Shakespeare's keen observations of the natural world are evident in his writings, and the gardens of his time were veritable labyrinths of culinary delights, providing the freshest ingredients for the tables of the privileged and the humble alike. The taverns of Elizabethan England were not just watering holes, but lively hubs of social interaction, where characters in Shakespeare's plays found solace, revelry, and sometimes trouble. From hearty ales to robust stews, these establishments played a role in shaping the social fabric of the time, providing the backdrop for many memorable scenes in Shakespeare's works. Imagine being a guest at an Elizabethan banquet, a theatrical experience where food was not only a feast for the stomach, but also for the eyes. I'll transport you to two occasions where Shakespeare might have been present, describing the sumptuous dishes that grace the tables, adding a theatrical flair to the dining experience. Our first occasion transports us to the opulence of a royal banquet, a grand affair hosted by none other than Queen Elizabeth herself. Imagine the year is 1599, and Shakespeare is in attendance at the lavish court of the Queen. The air is thick with anticipation as the finest minds of the era gather, and the banquet table groans under the weight of culinary delights from near and far. In this regal setting, the culinary maestros of the time spare no expense. Exotic spices, rare meats, and the finest wines from the royal cellars grace the table. Aromas of roasted game birds and spiced desserts waft through the air as the Queen and her court indulge in a feast fit for royalty. Shakespeare, amidst the glittering courtiers, would have been treated to a gastronomic spectacle, perhaps a venison pasty adorned with gold leaf or a subtlety, those intricate sugar sculptures that were the crowning glory of Elizabethan banquets. Now let's transport ourselves to a different setting, a bustling Elizabethan tavern in the heart of London. The year is 1601, and Shakespeare finds himself in the midst of the common folk, soaking in the vibrant energy of the city's tavern culture. The ambience is lively, with the sounds of laughter, clinking tankards, and the strumming of a lute. The aroma of hearty stews and freshly baked pies fills the air as the patrons revel in the camaraderie of the tavern. In this humble but spirited setting, the fare is robust and flavorful. Picture Shakespeare seated at a wooden table, savoring a meat pie filled with succulent morsels, and perhaps a tankard of ale to wash it down. The dishes here may lack the extravagance of a royal banquet, but they are no less rich in flavor and character. A simple yet satisfying meal, resonating with the pulse of the city and the stories that would later find their way into the fabric of Shakespeare's works. Fast forward to the present day, and let's trace the evolution of these Elizabethan delicacies. How have these historical recipes adapted to modern tastes and ingredients? Our journey begins in the heart of Elizabethan England, a time when spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves were the crown jewels of the kitchen. Back then, meals were a tapestry of rich, spiced flavors, reflecting the opulence of the era. Picture open-fire kitchens, roasting spits, and bubbling cauldrons, the symphony of the Elizabethan kitchen. From savory pies filled with game to sweet treats adorned with edible gold, the culinary landscape was a celebration of excess and indulgence. Now, let's fast forward to the present day, where chefs and home cooks alike are breathing new life into these ancient recipes. The evolution of Elizabethan dishes involves a delicate dance between honoring tradition and infusing modern creativity. Take, for example, the humble meat pie. Once a staple on Elizabethan tables, today's chefs are putting a twist on this classic by experimenting with diverse fillings, incorporating global flavors, and presenting them in visually stunning ways. From the royal courts to our modern kitchens, the evolution is not just about ingredients, but also about presentation. Elizabethan dishes were known for their elaborate displays, and today's chefs are embracing the art of plating to elevate these historical recipes. Whether it's a spiced wine infused with herbs or a dessert inspired by the subtleties of the past, the evolution of Elizabethan dishes showcases the timeless appeal of these culinary treasures. Now let's uncover some of the lesser-known Elizabethan recipes. Join me and subscribe as we delve into the forgotten flavors that once graced the tables of the Elizabethan era. Our first culinary adventure takes us into the realm of salads. No, not the salads we know today, but a delightful medley of fresh and pickled ingredients that adorned Elizabethan tables. Picture a vibrant mix of herbs, flowers, and vegetables tossed in exotic dressings. From marigold petals to purslane leaves, the Elizabethans embraced a wide array of greens, often foraged from their gardens. These salads were not only a feast for the eyes, but also a refreshing accompaniment to heartier dishes. Next on our culinary exploration is pottage. This hearty and versatile dish was a staple in Elizabethan households, a comforting blend of grains, vegetables, and sometimes meat. The beauty of pottage lies in its adaptability, making use of whatever ingredients were available. Whether it's a thick, warming broth in the winter or a lighter, more vegetable-centric version in the summer, pottage showcased the resourcefulness of Elizabethan cooks in creating flavorful, filling meals. Now let's satisfy our sweet tooth with a lesser-known Elizabethan indulgence, marchpane. This almond-based confection was not just a treat for the taste buds, but also a canvas for culinary artistry. Marchpane was molded into intricate shapes and often used to create edible sculptures that adorned the tables of grand banquets. From castles to mythical creatures, these edible masterpieces added a touch of whimsy to Elizabethan dessert tables. Our final stop on this culinary journey takes us to the market, where pies of pompion grace the stalls. These pumpkin pies, spiced with cinnamon and nutmeg, were a delightful fusion of sweet and savory, a precursor to our modern pumpkin pies. In the bustling markets of Elizabethan England, pies of pompion were a popular choice, showcasing the versatility of pumpkin in the culinary repertoire of the time. But it wasn't all feast for the elite. Common folks had their own set of go-to recipes. Let's turn our attention to Aleposet, a delightful concoction that graced the tables of many Elizabethan homes. This beverage, a precursor to modern custards, was not just a drink, but also a sweet ending to a day's labor. Aleposet consisted of ale, warm spices, and sweetened with sugar. It was a comforting treat often enjoyed before bedtime, bringing a touch of sweetness to the simple lives of everyday people. Picture a family gathered around the hearth, sipping on the frothy goodness of Aleposet, its warmth spreading through their bodies. The combination of ale, spices, and sweetness created a soothing elixir that added a touch of joy to their evenings. As we conclude our journey into the gastronomic world of the Elizabethan era, I hope you've enjoyed this savory exploration. If you've tried any of the recipes or have your own historical culinary stories, share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more tantalizing tales from the past. This is Food Story and signing off. Until our next historical culinary adventure.